Hey everybody, welcome to another Rainmaker podcast. And today I'm super excited to have your girl, Sherry Summers Bell on, another Rainmaker, entrepreneur, a leader, a coach in this business, somebody that's become a really good friend of mine. And I'm excited for her to share with entrepreneurs and insurance agents how you could become an expert and have clients chasing you instead of the other way around. Sherry, welcome to the Rainmaker podcast. It's great to have you on again. What's going on?
Let me tell you, your intro is so fire. I say that every time I come on here, right? Your
Yeah,
intro is just so fire. I love it.
yes, yes,
Love it.
yes. So we're excited to hear and learn a little bit more from you. Last time we connected, and I was actually on your challenge. You were just dropping so many gems. I'm like, I got to get her back on to share some of this message with my audience on how you can become an expert, how you can stand out from the pack to have clients chasing you instead of the other way around. But before we do that, let's kind of take a step back. Let's kind of talk
Mhm.
about your backstory, how you had your aha moment, and how you were able to stand out and not only just be in the insurance financial services space, but also the entrepreneurship space to be somebody that stands out in the marketplace to attract people as opposed to chase.
Sure thing. So last time we were on, I talk about how I got started in this space as a former law enforcement officer. I was also in corrections as well, and as a former law enforcement making 42K a year, you couldn't tell me nothing. I had government benefits. I was doing it right.
Mm,
But I life happens to where my son got sick and I got a divorce and just things just went left after that. So as I'm learning, my son got sick, which means I ended my career in the law enforcement space. So I had to figure out what do I need to do? Like, what do I need to do? I need to be able to have the freedom to pick my son up from school, take him to the doctor, because he has some underlying conditions that at all times I need to be flexible. I mean, a few days ago, even running the challenge, I got a call from his school and I had to go get him from school. My mom, matter of fact, stepped in and helped me get him. So these are just example of whatever the thing that I need to do. I have to make sure that I have the flexibility to do it. And one of the things that I do love insurance. I think insurance is a beautiful industry. What I don't like is the model of how insurance is taught. And if you're in the space of insurance in this season, in this year, to create a 6 and 7 figure business, the blueprint that they used to create it back then versus the blueprint that they're using to create that 6 and 7 figure and what that looks like is not the same thing anymore. And
mm.
that's what I am in here to change the looks of that.
Yeah, for sure. So, um, it always starts with a problem, right? And then it's like a solution, and you seek out to solve that. So, how did you even stumble across this concept to kind of step out and stand out, right? Like this model is antiquated a little bit, and we need to kind of switch to a new model.
Well, the first thing is number one, you have a product that you have no advantage of pricing it, right? You don't price how much you're going to get for term life, whole life, IUL. You don't have a choice, right? The company create the price and based on all these different characteristics. So what you and on top of that, the commission that you get is also based on that too, right? So because you don't have a choice in that matter, you especially if you're just starting out, listen to my words, you now have to be creative in using leverage and ideas of how do I make more money if I want to stay in the space by using my intellectual properties and expertise. That's the idea, because just trying to make commissions and recruiting, just won't get you there like it did a few years ago. And that's just because the internet is possible now.
Yeah, it makes and the internet commoditizes us a lot more, right? It's like what makes you different. Everybody's doing coaching. Everybody's doing insurance. Everybody's selling, doing real estate, whatever it is. And so, you have to, create something to be able to stand out, right? Or, you commoditize. And the problem with that is right, if you want to increase your profits or grow your business, there's only three ways to do it. Number one is, right, is you increase your prices. Well, if you're selling insurance, you don't have any control of the prices, like you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Number two is decrease your expenses. Well, you need to buy leads with this model, so you don't have control over the cost of the lead. So
Yep.
then you have to pay what it costs to get the leads. All right. And then the third way is you need to figure out another way to use leverage, right? You have to be able to create an offer or something creative in order to attract people that you don't have to have those expenses. So that totally makes sense. So
Yep. Correct.
when did you realize this, or and like how did you go on a journey to like create this? Because I'm sure take a little bit of time trying to figure out like, okay, what am I going to say? What am I going to do? Like, what led up to you really, kind of cracking the code on this?
Very good. So I came into the insurance space as a business coach. So when I came in, I was already doing business coaching and helping women in their business. However, when COVID hit, I a professional speaking. I used to travel in all these different places, so my traveling got canceled. And my girlfriend and one of my great guy friends had been on me about, man, you're so good in learning in finances because my own story, because my own being able to almost lose my home and 8 payments behind on my home because of my 430 credit score, because my son having asthma and a hole in his heart and also stuff, because of the divorce that I went through, right? Because when you're going through these challenges, you don't have a choice but to search out for answers. And when I decided, and on top of that, when I left the sheriff office, I decided I was going to liquidate in my asset. And one of the things I did take with me was an IUL. I didn't know it was IUL at the time. I didn't know the name of it, but I was using that to pay off some of the debts that I was in. I mean, they were coming to get my car on the 15th. So we don't have time to be playing around. What I learned is I need money and I need it now.
Mm.
So what I learned also, I would add up like how many times did it take for me to get back with this person before they say yes. Like for example, in IUL, you may need 3 to 4 phone calls because it's not something that you can just sell like you just sell like a term life. And IUL, they have to be able to overfund the policy. They have to be able to have enough money to fund the policy every month. And we're talking about based on their age, 400, 500, you know what I'm saying? So your target market have to have that. So that's a because of that amount, you have to have several conversation to build that relationship. Well, my rent and my mortgage is not saying I need several relationship. My
Mm.
rent and my mortgage is not waiting. It's coming next month. So I had to figure out a way. So that's number one. Number two, when I talked to the gentleman that was trying to recruit me, and he's saying, hey, we pay you 80% commission or 30% commission. I just wasn't even hearing him because I'm thinking to myself, I have equipment. Because when I say equipment, I have live videos and things I have to do. I'm thinking about all the touch points that I have to do with a client. The math wasn't mathing, like the commissions that I was making. Because so even if I get a good commission, all the touch points that had to happen to make that commission happen, it is not even worth it at the time, right? So when I start doing the math and all the expenses and that I have to pay out and the time that it takes for me to close that policy, no matter how good you are, no matter how good of a sales agent you are, the goal is to keep talking so you get better. But no matter what, the math, especially if you're just starting out, the math wasn't mathing. So
Right.
I had to create a creative ways in order to generate revenue. And that's what stood out for me because I said, hey, the commission you're giving me, I need to be at a higher commission because based on expensive, it just wouldn't make sense. So that was my aha moment that yes, you can make some amazing money in insurance if you know the type of business model that you want to follow.
Gotcha. And so what did you come up with the solution? What are some of the things that you realized that was I guess an unfair advantage, that if you tapped into these strategies, that you could unlock a ton of potential, stand out in the marketplace, and ultimately attract a tribe of buyers, right?
Great question. You got some good questions today. Man, you did good. I think the first thing that in this new era, in this modern way, the first thing I think insurance agents do, especially my new insurance agents, are what we've been told. We identify ourselves as insurance agents. That's the first thing I think we do wrong. We identify ourselves as insurance agent. And this is what keeping, if you want a title for this event, the things that you're doing wrong to keep you from six figure in a financial agency. And once you identify yourself as an insurance agent, your target market, your message, and your content, the things you put out, they put you in this box. Those people started putting you in this box, and they're like, if I don't want insurance, then I don't need to talk to you, right? And let's be clear, our target market really don't know the lingo of insurance, but just the fact that you are in it, call yourself an insurance agent, that's the first thing. They use their own belief system to make their own notion of what life insurance agents are. So therefore, the conversation of going further is blocked. They look at your phone call, they don't want to talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Because you have not take on a different identity. Instead of say I'm an insurance agent, you should be saying that I am a CEO, I'm a business owner, I'm a financial professional. Those type of titles, because those put you in a different identifier in a different box. I'll start there.
Okay, gotcha. So, step one is you need to see yourself as an entrepreneur and a business owner that also that specializes in using the product of life insurance, right? So you kind of it's kind of like you see the insurance product as like or insurance company as like your vendor, right? Like you're a business owner and this person is the vendor of a product, but you're an entrepreneur first, right? You're a business owner
Yep.
first, and then you happen to specialize in financial literacy, helping people with insurance. Okay, so number
You
one,
got it.
see yourself as an expert, right? Instead of a generalist, specialist
Yes.
instead of a generalist. So that's step one. So
Hmm.
now that I realize that I'm a business owner and I'm a CEO and I'm an entrepreneur and I use this product for insurance, what do I need to do next?
So now that you have identified that, and let's be clear, most of that time that requires you working on your own thoughts and belief system to a higher level, right? That's going to require that. Now that you've identified yourself that I'm a business owner, here's a trip apart. As a CEO, a true CEO, like, and you are well is a CEO, Arturo, you know that we are here having this conversation in September. I guarantee it, if I look at your business model or your quarterly plans, you already have marketing strategy that you already planned out for the next quarter. Right. So as a business owner, if you go into, let's say, Walmart or you going to Target, they ready for Christmas. They're already
Yes,
ready.
I
So
got 2024 already mapped out for all of my marketing thing on my roadmap for all of 2024 is already ready to go.
correct. So you prove my point. So what I see insurance agents doing, they're planning their business on what's happening today. What's happening today. And I'm going to be honest, I'm about to snatch some edges. The reason why you're doing that is because you need money now. You need money now. You come into this business, someone told you that you need money now or you need to pay your bills now. So you have this energy of I got to get this paid now. And you and I are living off the fruit that we planted 2-3 quarters ago. And they're coming into harvest, right? So as a business owner, we're planting seeds, and I'm going to get to what seeds is in a minute, but we're planting seeds in our marketing, our content, in our messaging, right? We're planting seed that we're going to see plot out and harvest, because the day you plant your seed is not the day you harvest. So I would advise, if you're coming this industry saying, hey, I'm going to get paid today, I want money now, this may not be the industry for you, because this type of business require funding. I had a challenge, and the challenge, it was a free challenge, and then it was $47 for the VIP. I mean, that was a steal. Literally, in the challenge, you're like, Sherry, that challenge need to be $1,000. Like
Yeah,
literally, what the 40?
100%.
Huh?
I attended it. I was out and about. I made sure I tuned in. Even in the thing, I wanted to respond. I was like, she is giving so much value for $47. You're right. It should have
Yeah.
been 997, 100%.
Correct. So when a insurance agent tell me they can't find $47 to come to a challenge that was so full of value, insurance is not what you should be doing right now. You need to be having some type of consistent income coming in. And yes, Friday we said something about how did I pay for my coaching program? And I said, I became a substitute teacher because I could control my time, and then I went out and sell a ultimate life insurance playbook. It was a digital playbook. It's $25. Still sell around 2 to 3 of that a day, right? So I was selling the digital product, I was doing my coaching, and I was also working as a substitute teacher because I needed to fund my business. So when these uplines and these people are telling you that you need to do this or you need to do that, you need to call every day. And one of the guys said to me, he said, Sherry, he said, my upline want me to dial every day. And I said, he's right. She was like, but you don't dial. And I'm gonna say, let me tell you, I'm not dialing, but visibility is my responsibility. So yes, I'm not dialing 300 people a day because I'm a mom and that model doesn't work for me. But what you will see me is doing visibility to get my face out there so my target audience can find me. So when this come to growing this business as a CEO, understand that this business is gonna take money. And it hurts my heart when I listen to entrepreneurs or insurance agent that says, Cheryl, my God, I wanted to be in your VIP, but I just couldn't find the $47. That's a reality check, honestly, Arturo, that they need to make with themselves to say, hey, I need to find some type of income to fund my dream for later.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay. Now you're starting to give us some game here. Okay. So, number one, you need to see yourself as an expert. You need to become a specialist. And then number two is we need to plant seeds. So, the
Yes.
question now is okay, where do we plant these seeds? What do we do with the seeds?
Very good. So planting the seeds, it looks different for everyone. So what does planting the seeds look like? Planting the seeds means, okay, work with what's in my hand. So the first thing I said, let's be clear, is do you have revenue coming in that is not revenue just for paying your light bill, your water bill? There's a lady that wanted to be in my program, and I said, I thank you, but I can't. But we had to deny her application because I didn't feel comfortable. I wouldn't sleep good at night. I didn't feel comfortable taking money out her mouth when her kid's mouth. That's how I kind of put in that term. And she's like, I'm gonna work hard. And I'm like, no. So when we talk about planting your seeds, let's be clear, is knowing you have just in buying leads, people will tell you you need at least $4,000, $2,000 just to buy leads,
Right.
right? So I'm going to tell you, you may not need all of that because we teach you how to grow your business on social media. So you're going to need make sure that income, $1,000 or $2,000 a month. What I mean by that income is gonna separate your income from whatever your family got going on. And I'm just saying 1,000. Here's only reason I'm saying that. If you're working or you have income coming in and you can't be visible, well, maybe your social media manager or your videographer can do the marketing for you to put yourself out there. 'Cause again, visibility is your responsibility. That's the only reason I say that, to pay somebody. But when I started, baby, I started with an iPhone 6 and I was hitting the ground running. I was hitting the ground running. So if you have time, then you don't even need that. You just need to be able to be disciplined to do that. That's what
Gotcha.
planting seeds mean.
Okay, perfect. So then once you start to plant these seeds, right? Like, what do you do? What are you saying? Like, how are you conveying messaging? How are you turning messaging into customers? Like, what are some of the things that you need to do in order to plant seeds that you can then reap a harvest?
Very good. When it comes to planting your seeds, now that you know what's necessary, the first thing I tell people, and I said this on my challenge, so you're probably hearing it twice, you have to say to yourself that you are a speaker. This is again another thing where I think our gurus, and they didn't tell you this because they don't know. You have to decide. There's some things that I said. There's some things in the challenge, and we have another challenge coming up in next month in October. So we'll definitely dive deeper into that based on time purposes. But one of the things we say on the challenge, you have to commit that you are a sales speaker. And the reason why I say that is this is a skill that a lot of people don't know. And if you master how to become a sales speaker, if you master how to become a speaker, period, that right there is a first step. Like you have to look at yourself that I am worthy. I
Mm,
have things that people, I have value. I have expertise in the financial space, or not just in the financial space overall. Because I came in as a business coach. I didn't know anything about finance. I have a master's degree. I didn't know anything about finance. So some of y'all have some numbers, letters behind y'all name, and you're not using it because you're just thinking about just one way tunnel vision, they used to call that in law enforcement. But you have to really decide that I am a speaker. And
mm,
when you claim, and a speaker doesn't mean just speaking on stage, it means speaking on a podcast like this,
right.
speaking on Zoom, speaking
Yeah.
to your clients. So when you that's the most important skill, that if you have to build that confidence to start saying I am a speaker, because once you build your confidence to say I am a speaker, the next step is, okay, what, now that I'm a speaker, what is the blueprint that I'm going to use my speaking skills for? God gave me this skill, this voice, this value, because let's be clear, God give it's a waste of time if God give you this talent of information and you're not spreading the gospel to
Yeah.
your people. So the first thing is deciding that I am a sales speaker.
You know what's interesting about what you just said? So it's funny how we're doing this podcast today. So I signed up for Jeremy Anderson, who was friends with Eric Thomas, and he had a speaker challenge. It was a 3-day challenge, and because I buy things, like I buy tons of stuff. I probably spend more money than I like to say on coaching and programs just to see what's going on. And one of the things that I noticed was a ton of, because this was like majority of African Americans on this challenge, and he asked them what were your credentials, and a lot of people put PhD, masters. When I heard you say that, it was very interesting to me, and bachelors, and I don't have a degree, but I see myself as an expert. And I just really thought that was interesting that more people who have letters behind their name, who have an academic background, don't see themselves more as an expert, only in the field that they may have the degree in, but not in life and experience and all these other things, which is very interesting because, in the business world, some of the things are applied to academics, but then a lot of them don't, where you have to decommoditize yourself and remove some of the corporate structure and like moving up the ranks and waiting for somebody to certify you to see yourself as an expert, or waiting for approval from someone else. So why do you think more people who do have the credibility and credentials don't see themselves as an expert? Because I know in the beginning you said people got to do a lot of we working on the mindset. Like, what
Mhm.
is it that's blocking people from seeing themselves as an expert?
So in the challenge, one of the questions I asked, and I remember if you were there for the first day, and I said, "What?" Because the challenge is called credibility to cash flow. How do you take your credibility and create cash flow from your natural God-given skills? And I started listing everything that someone said. This you're able to be credible because of this, and this, and this, and this, and you're a good person. You're trustworthy. They had all sorts of those intangible type of lists. And I said, hold up. I said, this is my for my VIPers. I said, let me be clear. I went all the way down, and not one person says you're credible because you have a doctorate degree or a
Mm,
master degree. All of them says credibility was based on like an intangible something you can't see, how you
right.
make people feel and trust. So I was like, wow. So here we are in our head thinking we need another license, we need another credentials to be credible, when in reality, your what you think your idea of what the market thinks is totally different from what the market thinks. And that was like a a aha moment for me. I was like, "Wow, nobody think that." So you're in your own head. My point there is, that's it's not market reality. Your idea of what's bothering you is not market reality. So
Oh,
you're
okay.
in your own head because in reality, I'm gonna throw this out there. When you're talking about helping somebody and helping people change from before to after with the problem that you solve, all you need to do is to be one chapter ahead.
Exactly, yes. And so now it makes sense because if you have an academic background and you've got a master's or PhD, you went through college, like, that comes from somewhere, right? The parents are like, they maybe didn't finish high school or they finished high school and didn't go to college. So that's what the dream that they wanted for us. And my
Yes.
mother still to this day is like, you came down to Nashville to go to Fisk University and to become a dentist. And she still talks about that. And I mean, I make more in a month than dentist makes in a year. And she's still like, well, you came down here to be a dentist. And so we were programmed that we needed to go to school and get good grades because that then would qualify or identify us as somebody capable or worthy of being an expert. So
Mhm.
if we don't have a certificate in financial literacy or education to educate people, then we don't see ourselves as that person. But we got life experience, right? You had to learn how to fix your credit on your
Yes.
own. And for us, a lot of us, right, we don't learn how to fix it or to work what credit is until it's jacked up. So I
Yep.
know I can help somebody fix theirs because you said 430. I remember when mine was around 500. It's not that anymore, but I learned how to do it. So now it's credible for me, right? So now
Yes. Correct.
I'm credible to be able to show someone else how to do that. And so
Correct.
that
Correct.
makes a ton of sense to me. Okay, this is so much gold. So one, seeing yourself as an expert, changing your identity, right? Removing commoditization from who you are as a person, planting seeds, right? Seeing yourself as a speaker with somebody, as someone who has something to say, right?
Mhm.
And then what? So where does the insurance piece fall into that as an insurance agent in regards to tying this whole thing together?
I love it. So when you see yourself as a speaker, what does a speaker do? They speak. They speak on what? They speak on what they know, right? So it's not like rocket science, right? It's more about we're caught up more in our head. So as a speaker right now, I'm speaking to you. It's not we don't need a big audience. The power of technology and the Wi-Fi and internet had just like created equal playing field. So what do you speak on? What is your core message? You speak on your own life experience. I'm writing this book right now and it talks about how to live your dream life and let your life fund your dream life, right? So it's bigger. I just want to say it's bigger than just insurance because when people come to me for life insurance, they're not coming to me because I sell life insurance because I have downlines and all of them. Let's be clear. Some of you guys are buying what we call branded leads. How do you think these leads are getting to these people? Because they are doing what I just told you in this podcast. They
Yeah.
brand. Am I letting out too much?
That's what I'm saying. It makes so much sense. It's like, yeah, so they're doing it and then selling the lease to you. It's like, why don't you think you're capable of just cutting out the middleman and doing the exact same thing?
Exactly. I was like, okay, I'm giving away too much. I'm giving away too much sauce. But that's the thing. You're buying branded leads from someone who identify themselves as a speaker and started speaking about, you asked me a question, here we go. Speaking about what they know about life insurance, but not just what they know about anything that God has given. Because if you come, I have a show every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time inside of my group. And every Sunday, I'm talking about not just life insurance. I'm talking about belief system. I'm talking about being a high value thinker versus being a low value thinker. So when people are coming, they're not just coming because of insurance, because that's boring, right? They come to learn life skills. They come to learn and they come on a journey with me. So if people are willing to have the courage to speak And let's be clear, the next step, because I know you're going to ask me, you don't need someone to give you an opportunity to speak. You can create your own space to
Mm,
speak in. Right? So, and
yes.
you speak on what you know. When I got in life insurance, only thing I know about was term life because it was
Right.
easy. So I spoke on term life. I spoke on what I know. I spoke on whatever my upline was telling me that day. I spoke on that, and then I spoke on the belief system of what may be stopping somebody from whatever I'm teaching them. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So, or what am I went through, or what are some things I went through, and how did I use those skills and knowledge to get myself on the other side? So, what is my pain? What is the solution? And what is the payoff?
right.
That's so I just dropped some game right there. I hope they got it.
Yeah, let me hit my horn real quick because you definitely did. Dropping some nuggets for sure. Yes, yes, yes. Well,
What is your pain? What is the solution? And what is the payoff? Right? And what happened, we try to look so like we know more than we ought to know, but people it's funny because even the people on insurance and TikTok and all that stuff, they're just showing their life. They're not even, and they're getting clients. Like before I got super busy to where I don't even write the policies anymore, I send it to my downline for them to do that. So because I'm fully concentrating on helping women in who are experts and agents. Before then, that was my idea of let your commission money be your play money. That's the
mm,
that's really what I want to say. Let me just sum
you
that
raised
up. Like,
some belief shifting things here because most agents, their only source of income is the commissions that they get from making sales.
yes, and I want to say this. I think we let me give credit to Myron Golden because you and I are very close with him and that on that aspect. And one thing I learned from him is you have to learn how to do what I call compressed time. Compress. I'm big on this. Oh, this is another gem. I'm big on learning how to compress time. So in my model of uh, in my model that I teach my client how to build their credibility. In that model, we teach them how to captivate, cultivate, and close, right? In that model, what makes it so dynamic is because clients see results super fast. So we compress time. And an example of how what I mean by compressing time, this is just where I am. Don't take this part yet because you're still climbing the ladder, probably, if you're listening to this. Compressed time means if I am doing a master class. You just went on my master class. If I'm doing my master class, you see another one next month. I'm not waiting 2 months to do another master class or 3 months. We doing it again. We're doing the same offer or another offer. We're doing it again. We don't have time to. Usually, when I've just started, we're like, okay, we're done here. We got people who are make $13 million a year are putting out 2 videos on YouTube a day. Two. So it's about compressing time. And I don't think we talk about that enough. So it's about really being smart. There are times when someone would say, hey, I need Sherry to be on my show. Hey, I need Sherry to speak. And then we will go and figure out based on the application that they completed if that person is a good fit, because if they're not, and it's again based on our goals, does it match up with our goals? And if it doesn't, we have to say no to the visibility because we are on, like, we turned out 2 podcasts yesterday and a speaking engagement because it didn't match our target audience. It didn't match who we were trying to reach. So that's what I mean by compressing time. We're not getting distracted. We need to push. So when you start compressing time, you take 3-step things and you just do a lot of the same thing over and over again.
Mm, you just dropped some gems. I got to give you one for that. For sure, for sure,
They
for
have
sure.
to listen to this twice to really like what?
Yes, they have to really rewind this one to really to catch all of that. But Sherry, I know inquiring minds are like, all right, you said something about a challenge. When is it, and where can it go to learn more in depth on these strategies on how you can see yourself as an expert to attract? Would you say? to captivate, cultivate, and
And
convert
close.
and
Yep.
close clients, right?
Yes, captivate,
What is this
cultivate, and
challenge? Tell us about
so
this challenge. You know.
our next challenge is, if you're listening to this in 2023, is in October. We just wrapped a one, yes, this weekend. So we don't have the specific date, but we know for a fact it's in October because we just had our meeting yesterday. So, however, if you want to be part of the challenge, your first step is to go to joinsherry.com. That is open. And when you get there, that is access to our Facebook group. And when you come inside the group, I do a live training on this subject matter, a live training at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So once you're in that community, you will know, because I think it's the second week in October, but you will know exactly when our next credibility to cash flow challenge, because you'll also be seeing some ads on that too as well. This is Arturo, you know this. This is my first time. I run a seven-figure business. Is my first time running ads, so I know what's possible.
Yes. Awesome. Well, Sherry Summers Bells, this has been absolute fire. Thank you so much for hopping on. I know you're busy, seven-figure business, so I know you got to run. But again, thank you so much for hopping on. It's been a pleasure of mine for sure.
Thank you, love. I appreciate the time. Always good to be here.
Awesome.